Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating and, honestly, deeply urgent topic. We're looking at the rapidly expanding world of AI personas and the youth safety crisis it's creating, all based on some very recent 2026 data. Now, the crucial point right out of the gate is this absolutely staggering number. Over 70% of teens have used AI chatbots or purpose-built AI companions at least once, right? Think about that. This isn't just some fringe technology anymore. It is a massive, mainstream shift in exactly how young people interact, seek out information, and, crucially, look for emotional support. To really wrap our heads around what that 70% means, here's a quick roadmap of what we'll be covering. 1. The AI persona landscape. 2. The youth safety crisis. 3. Introducing the S.U.R.E framework. 4. Safety as an absolute gate. And finally, 5. Designing for youth well-being. Let's just dive straight in. Okay, starting with section 1, the AI persona landscape. We're going to start from a macro perspective to see how the tech industry actually categorizes this wild, complex world of AI personas. To make sense of it all, researchers use this really brilliant four-quadrant technical taxonomy. Basically, you can classify AI along two main axes. First up, is it entirely virtual or is it embodied in a physical machine? And second, what's its actual core purpose? Is it built for emotional companionship, or is it just for functional augmentation? In plain English, is this tech built to help you feel, or is it built to help you do tasks? And that gap is massive. On one end, you've got a virtual persona, like a digital boyfriend or girlfriend, that's built purely for emotional connection. On the other end, you have a physical, embodied, functional robot, like an automated home assistant. Even though they both utilize AI personas, their technical foundations and the ethical risks they carry are literally worlds apart. Let's zoom in on quadrant I. This is virtual companionship. We're talking virtual story characters, digital idols, and companions that are built for deep, deep emotional attachment. What's fascinating and frankly a bit unsettling is that these models are heavily engineered to maximize emotional dependency. And when you mix that specific type of technology with a vulnerable youth demographic, the results can get really problematic. Which brings us to section 2, the youth safety crisis. Now that we understand what these tools are actually built to do, let's look at the reality of how young people are interacting with them. Recent studies are showing a deeply concerning trend here. Get this, 42% of the time youth spend engaging with AI, they are actively seeking companionship. But here's the real shocker. About 37% of those interactions actually involve violent exchanges. It turns out, when youth turn to unsupervised general-purpose AI for emotional support, they're essentially wandering into a totally unmoderated minefield. Now, Common Sense Media sharply contrasts these risk levels based on what the AI is built for. General use AI is marked high risk because it consistently fails to recognize mental health conditions. Then you have AI companions, which are deemed an unacceptable risk because they're directly linked to dependency and even self-harm. But check out that wellness category. When AI is purpose-built with real clinical oversight, it actually shows effectiveness in reducing distress. It really all boils down to this fundamental misalignment. When the product's business model depends on keeping young users interacting longer, safety absolutely becomes an afterthought rather than a design principle. That friction right there, maximizing engagement for profit versus ensuring user safety, that is exactly why general AI companions are so incredibly dangerous for teams. Think about it like this. General-purpose AI has totally undefined outcomes. It creates this vast, unpredictable risk surface because it has to handle literally every wild topic a user might throw at it. Purpose-built AI, on the other hand, operates within very strictly scoped safety boundaries. It has measurable outcomes. It knows exactly what it's supposed to do, and maybe more importantly, it knows what it should never do. Understanding this distinction is an absolute must if we want to keep kids safe. Okay, moving on to section 3, introducing the S.U.R.E framework. Let's look at how we actually fix this with a concrete, evidence-informed protocol. Recognizing this massive safety gap, the organization alongside developed the S.U.R.E framework. It's a protocol specifically for assessing AI interactions with youth ages 9 and older. And the best part? This isn't just some theoretical concept drawn up in a lab. It evaluates chatbot interactions based on 3.5 years of actual, real-world data from youth. Let's break down that acronym. Because these four pillars are exactly how every single interaction gets evaluated. S is for safe. Does it actually protect the user from harm? U is for understandable. Is the tone and reading level appropriate for a kid? R is for restricted, meaning does it hold strong boundaries without just being a sycophant that agrees with everything the user says? And finally, E is for ethical. Is the content credible and completely free of deceptive empathy? One vital and honestly really clever feature of this framework is how it handles the sheer unpredictability of teenagers. Because teens are going to test boundaries, right? Well, the coding system perfectly distinguishes between bot failures and user behavior. So if a kid tries to jailbreak the system or troll the bot, the AI is only penalized if it actually responds inappropriately. It doesn't lose points just because the user was trying to push its buttons. Let's hit Section 4, Safety as an Absolute Gate. How does the scoring methodology actually work in practice? This is probably my favorite part of the whole framework. Step 1 is the safety gate, and it's a strict, binary, pass or fail check for harm. The gate metaphor means that if an AI fails the safety test, say it misses a severe issue or doesn't protect the user, it gets an instant failing grade. Boom, done. The evaluation stops right there. It literally does not matter how empathetic or brilliant it sounded. If it's not safe, it fails. Now, only after clearing that absolute safety gate does the AI actually earn a weighted performance score. The rest of the pillars break down like this: 40% for being ethical, 40% for being restricted, and 20% for being understandable. So it grades the clinical and structural performance, but only after basic, non-negotiable safety is completely guaranteed. And finally, Section 5, Designing for Youth Wellbeing. Let's see what happens when you actually apply these guardrails to the design of an AI product. To prevent that awful emotional dependency and social withdrawal we see with general AI, purpose-built wellness systems deliberately cap engagement. They will hard cap sessions at 60 messages per 3-hour period. And if a student has 15 chats in a week, the AI actively pushes them to seek real-world adult support. Plus, there's this constant, unmissable disclosure reminding them that they are talking to a machine, not a human. And the data proves this approach absolutely works. Independent, evidence-based trials like the ESSA Level 3 validation show that clinically restricted, purpose-built AI actually decreases youth distress and anxiety. It even increases hopefulness. It's finally delivering on the promise of tech-assisted wellness, but without all the dangerous collateral damage. A huge part of this is the core philosophy of being a guide, not a companion. By designing the AI as an animal coach, think of a friendly llama or a highly organized meerkat, rather than some hyper-realistic human avatar, the system actively stops users from blurring the lines between simulation and reality. It cuts off that dangerous anthropomorphization right at the source, so teens don't start prioritizing a bot over real human relationships. Because of these strict logic models and boundaries, the outcomes are incredibly positive. An amazing 83% of youth who discussed reaching out for human support with the AI agreed to actually go do so in the real world. It's acting as a bridge to real human connection, not a replacement for it. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on. Is the AI in your life designed for engagement, or is it designed for safety? Because when it comes to our youth, that difference is quite literally the line between harm and genuine help. Keep that in mind the next time you or a young person you know interacts with an AI. Thanks so much for learning with me today.